like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream.
Let's listen to Pavarotti.
Hello, welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti, here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. In this episode, we're going to go over some new court docs that have just hit the court docs. And we're also going to take a look at that case summary because there's some other things that have hit that we're not going to get to see, it looks like. But there's a new motion, a new subpoena that's been filed. And there's some action going on in this thing. There's also been a scheduling order by the judge that may give us a little insight into what's going on with these expert witness disclosures. And then something else I'm going to touch on in this one is, there's a couple of creators out there, one in particular who's always does an excellent job, and they've been diving into a few things, and I've had some of my subscribers actually comment and request for me to take a look at it, and I'm going to take a look at that too, show you some interesting things and give you my determination of it. And then I'm going to show you some updates in another case that I believe is closely related to the Idaho 4 case, and we'll cover that. And then tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time, I'm going to release a investigative series video that will take your jaw, and you might want to tape it up before you watch it, because if not, you'll be picking your jaw up off the floor. I assure you. Insane. But until then, let's go ahead and get into these new court docs. Okay, we've got here an order sealing the state's motion to extend the no contact orders and amended no contact orders. And let's see, based upon the state stipulated motion to seal objection to defendants' no contact orders and amended no contact orders, the court hereby confirm and order that the state's motion to extend no contact orders and amend no contact orders are exempt from disclosure and sealed pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 32G1. Okay, so this is just an order by the judge approving the stipulated motion by the defense for the state to seal the no contact orders. And we went over that actually in a video, I think a couple of weeks ago, when they first filed the motion to extend those no contact orders and amend them. And I mentioned all of the people that were on there, by their initials. And also mentioned the one person that wasn't on there that I found was interesting was the mama. And she's the only one that is not on there. But that is one. Now let's go to the next one. Okay, now this one is a scheduling order for the ICR 12 motions. And you can see in preparation for hearings on ICR 12 motions scheduled to begin on January 23rd, 2025. And when it says scheduled to begin, folks, I guarantee you that hearing is going to last at least 2, if not 3 or 4 days, because it's not just on ICR motions. It's on ICR motions. It's on discovery deadline motions. That hearing is going to take a while, and they better publicize that hearing, or, you'll see a grown man cry, literally. But you can see, number one, the defendant shall disclose its witnesses, exhibits, and expert opinions, if any, to the court and state by January 9th, 2025. Okay, now let's not get this confused with the defendant's, expert witness list and list of witnesses and exhibits that they plan on presenting in trial. This is totally separate. This is just the witnesses, exhibits, and expert opinions, if any, that they're going to be presenting in the ICR motions hearing. So they have to have that to the judge by January 9th. And then the state shall disclose its witnesses, exhibits, and expert opinions, if any, to the court and defense by January 16th. Again, that's just the witnesses, expert opinions, and exhibits for the hearing on January 23rd, not to be confused with the trial. And then it says the defendant shall disclose any rebuttal disclosures to the court and state by January 21st, 2025. So defense has to post its list of witnesses, exhibits, and expert opinions on the 9th. The 16th, the state has to do the same. And then once the defense sees what the state is presenting as far as their witnesses, exhibits, and expert opinions, then they have till the 21st to offer any additional rebuttal disclosures based on what the prosecution puts forth. So we still don't have an order for what the defense has asked for as far as sanctions by the prosecution not filing the expert opinions and what the experts plan on, what their opinions are based on, all of the info that they were supposed to do on December 18th. And then the defense filed an objection and asked for sanctions. So we still don't have an order for that. So come on there, Hippler. Now, this new case summary, though, is interesting. You can see at the top there on January 2nd, a stipulated motion to seal to state's objection to defendant's motion to compel the ICR 16B7 material and for sanctions. So what I was just talking about is we haven't got an order yet from the judge on the defense's motion for, to compel the ICR 16B7 material and ask for sanctions. Apparently the prosecution has objected to that, and they have objected to that and filed their objection under seal. So the defense files theirs out in the open, and the prosecution wants to hide what they have to say in their objection. They file it under seal. So we don't even know what the state is objecting to. Isn't that typical? Nice open trial for everybody to be able to garner all the info, right? Yeah, state's hiding everything. And then we have the exhibit. They have a sealed exhibit to the state's objection to defendant's motion to compel. And then we have a motion to redact or seal newly filed records. Stipulated motion to seal Exhibit A to defendant's motion to compel 16B7. Subject document motion to redact or seal newly filed record. So Exhibit A to our motion to compel 16B7. So they're wanting to seal the exhibits on the objection on the 16B7, and they just want to seal everything. The defense puts it out there. The prosecution wants to keep it out of our eyes. Imagine that. Next, we have the subject document, motion to redact or seal newly filed record, Exhibit T to defendant's 21st supplemental request for discovery. Now, the 21st supplemental request for discovery was filed under seal, so I can understand the state filing Exhibit T to their response under seal, so that's not unusual. And then we've got on January 3rd, the subpoena is issued. This is not the same subpoena, the subpoena duces tecum. This is another subpoena that has been issued. We don't know what that is yet, but I'll be interested to know who or what they're subpoenaing. And then on January 6th, they got the scheduling order for the ICR 12 motions, and we just covered that. And then we've got these orders. You know what? There's 3 of them here since the order on the no contact orders are amended or redacted that I just covered with you. It looks like maybe they've amended a couple of more of them. They may have added mama on there since they're not letting us see all of these amends. But that is it. That's on the case summary. Some interesting things. That hearing on the 23rd is going to be huge. I cannot wait, and it better not be closed. So, my subscribers, I mentioned, they've asked me to comment on some information that's out there right now as it relates to a Reddit return on December the 19th. I haven't watched anybody's videos on this, but I've kind of garnered from what they've, said in my comments that maybe that the Reddit return was some kind of nexus between Kaylee and Kohberger. And, when I first started diving into all of the warrant returns, when I came across the Reddit return on the 19th at first, and I know you can go back and watch my videos, I said, well, this could have been something to do with Kopaka and Kohberger finding their nexus with Kohberger's Reddit survey. And then when I dove in a little further and realized that that was a return warrant for Kaylee, well, then I just crossed it off the list. So going back through it, though, looking to see if there's some kind of nexus possible, I can see where the dates are very, very curious. But let me take a look at it with you, and then let's see if we can determine if there is some kind of nexus there. I don't believe there is. Okay, so here is the warrant return from Mowry, which pretty much tells you everything, or the warrant summary, I'm sorry, which pretty much tells you everything you need to know about the dates. And you can see that an affidavit has been trained and qualified as a peace officer for 12 years. On November 20th, 2022, I obtained a search warrant for reddit.com. The warrant was served on December 1st, 2022 by email or fax. And then on December 19th, I received an email from reddit.com which contained the requested information. So I can see where somebody would say, okay, if the IGG was falsely produced on the 19th to cover up Kohberger, then maybe by getting this back on the 19th and the information in it, well, that could be the nexus. But whenever they get this information back from like a Reddit, I'm willing to bet that this is a huge file, and it would take a significant amount of time for an investigator to go through and look at all of the information in it. I doubt they're going to be able to do it the day they get it back, find a nexus, create a fake IGG, and then move forward from there. But when we look at the other dates on there, it was sealed on December 23rd, which was the date that they got the first AT&T warrant. So all the dates on there look very suspicious. So the thing that I wanted to focus on once I looked at this was the first mention of Reddit in the probable cause affidavit as it relates to Kohberger. All right, so here's the PCA, the portion where it discusses that, and it says, based on information provided on the WSU website, Kohberger is currently a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University. Pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department, we learned that Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Kohberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Kohberger wrote in his essay he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. So the open source internet search tells me that they weren't trying to locate it via a warrant for Kohberger. And the survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. Now, it is very interesting that they wanted to put that part in their probable cause affidavit because, it's really kind of out of place. And I think it's also interesting that they put in there it can be found on an open source internet search. So that would give a little bit of validity to the warrant return from Reddit on Kaylee. Was there a nexus in there? But I looked for the first warrant that was filed for Kohberger as it relates to Reddit, because let's face it, if the nexus was a Reddit return for Kaylee, and that's where they found the nexus to Kohberger, they created a fake IGG because of it, then that would be their most important evidence that they would have as a nexus between Kohberger and any of the victims. So I would think that even before his arrest, they would file for the Reddit survey or the Reddit warrant for Kohberger. But if not, directly after his arrest, they would file it. That would be one of the first things they would want to get their hands on. And that didn't happen. You can see the first warrant filed on Kohberger for Reddit wasn't until January 25th, 2023, when Mowry finally served a warrant to Reddit. And it was served on January 26, 2023 by email. February 8th, he received it. March 22nd, the data was downloaded to computers at the Moscow Police Department, and then it was inventoried. So that tells me that if they've waited all the way till January 25th, that the Reddit warrant for Kohberger was not something that was high on their list of priorities. So I would have to say that I don't think the Reddit return from Kaylee is applicable to anything important in the case. Now, if you'll recall, a couple of weeks ago, I was hollering up and down, "And Taylor, you've got a pretrial conference scheduled for the Skylar Meade case, the final pretrial conference scheduled on January 23rd, the same day the most important hearing in the Kohberger case is being held for the ICR and discovery motions. Got to fix it. Well, look what happened. I mean, just a couple of days after I pointed that out, you can see on December 20th, 2024, there was a stipulated motion to continue. Stipulated motion to continue the pretrial conference and the jury trial. And then you can see on the same day, because they did have to continue that, they waived the speedy trial rights of Skylar Meade, which that would be, I would imagine that he would want to waive his speedy trial rights, because if not, he's just going to go to solitary confinement a little bit sooner in prison. But it's been rescheduled. You can see the pretrial motion on January 23rd has been vacated, and the jury trial on February 3rd has now been vacated as well. And the comments say it's going to be rescheduled for 6 weeks down the road. So good job getting those things rescheduled, Ann Taylor, so you don't have a conflict on that day. But those are the updates I have for you this morning. And like I said, tonight at 7 o'clock, I've got one that is going to knock your socks off. I'm telling you, tape your jaw to your face, because you don't want your jaw on the floor, and it will definitely do that. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe to the channel. Post your comments, thoughts, criticisms. Until next time, Pavarotti's out.